These two lame, shoebox looking boxes contain probably the coolest TF2 figures to have ever been made. And I wouldn't have been able to get one of them without some help from this video's sponsor, Raid! Nah, I'm just kidding. Something that people would actually use. Opera GX, the web browser made specifically for gaming. They actually sponsored me for the first time a couple months back, and before that, I had never used Opera GX. But since then, it's basically become my main browser. I mean, look at this. You've got the sidebar over here, so you can just pop into Discord or Twitter whenever you want without having to have them open in a separate tab or in the background. And you can also use the GX player there, so you can stream music from Spotify, Apple Music, or YouTube Music. And a lot of the time, if I'm recording footage for a video, I'll have some notes open in the background, and Opera GX's GX control lets you improve performance by letting you set limits for its CPU and RAM usage. And its network limiter lets you limit the bandwidth it uses too. And Opera GX has a mobile version, so you can connect it directly to your desktop version. Opera GX has some really neat and really useful features. And of course, it's completely free. And you can download it for free with the link in the description. So, check it out. Okay, back to these. Yeah, despite how cool the contents of these boxes are, the boxes themselves are surprisingly boring. Especially if you compare them to the boxes the statues came in, or even the regular NECA figures. These boxes are just kinda plain, but the back of the box does reveal that these are in fact the robot figures. With the bigger one obviously being the Heavy, and the smaller one being the Pyro. They're 1/6 scale and made by 3A, but that's really all the important information you get from the box. We'll look at the Robot Heavy first, because it was released first, back in 2013. Both the Robot Heavy and the Robot Pyro were released in blue and red versions. I would have been totally fine getting either, but I am glad to have gotten the blue versions, because obviously that's how they appear in game. Originally, they retailed for around $220 US, and if you had pre-ordered the Heavy, you would have gotten a special version that came with the gloves running urgently as optional hand replacements. So that's pretty cool, but unfortunately the one I got didn't come with that, though they seem kind of like a pain to swap out anyway. The Heavy also comes with an extra code to redeem a genuine Little Bear item in TF2, as well as a genuine AAA badge. The one I bought still came with the code card, and to my surprise, it was unused. So that was cool. Way to not redeem your $70 item, idiot. No, I'm just kidding, they probably didn't care. But it was a surprise, I expected it to be used. Now right out of the box, this thing looks super cool. I mean, it's impressive. It looks spot on, and it stands 12 inches or 30.5 centimeters tall. The Heavy NECA figure just barely comes past his waist, so it's a great scale for the giant robots in the game. It is made of plastic, and is a pretty hefty figure, but it's actually lighter than it looks. And this figure apparently has 30 points of articulation. You've got the toes, you've got the ankles, the knees, the legs, kinda. They're very similar to the NECA Heavy's legs, where they don't bend beyond a certain point. But Heavy is very top heavy, so you kinda need that for some stability. Then you have a waist joint, there's kinda some movement up here, you can adjust the shoulders and the bullets a little bit, and the head moves a little bit, but it is fairly restricted. And the mouth can open up and close, so you could say, "Hi, how's it going?" Each of the main finger sections has 2 points where they can bend, though the thumb is very stiff and mainly just bends down. You have a wrist and an elbow, and you can make them wave. This is apparently very friendly Robot Heavy. A shoulder joint, and this here would imply that you could have the arms go straight out like a T-pose, but man, they're really stiff, and I don't want to break anything. These do seem like pretty sturdy figures that wouldn't break very easily for the most part, but with how much they cost, I ain't risking nothing. Heavy also comes with this big ol' minigun, and unlike the NECA version, the barrel actually spins. So chuck that thing in the trash, and just pose him with this. Unfortunately, as you could probably imagine, it's actually pretty difficult to get this in the Robot Heavy's hands. The back handle of the minigun isn't even big enough to fit all of Heavy's fingers, so you kinda have to have the index finger just awkwardly sticking out. This is pretty much the best I could do. You could definitely get him to hold it, but you're not gonna get him into crazy action poses or anything. But like I said, if you did get the pre-order version, you could pose him with the gloves, and I think they look really nice. And this figure also has one more super rad feature. The eyes can light up! You just pop the top of the head off to reveal a switch and some slots for batteries. These take 3 AG1 batteries. AG1 batteries that haven't arrived by the time I'm recording this. So I'm just gonna pretend like I know what the footage looks like here. Whoa, would you look at that? That sure is crazy. They sure do light up. I assume. I hope this isn't broken. Please don't be broken. I'm kinda not a fan of the fact that you have to pop the whole top of the head off just to turn the lights on. The Pyro figure does this part so much better. All you gotta do is push down the front of the gas mask, and bam, they light up. Now this Robot Pyro figure is stupidly rare. The Heavy is rare, but this is stupidly rare. Originally released in 2014, I've only seen one for sale since then. The only way I managed to get this was because someone contacted me to actually specifically sell it to me. And for a really good price too. I even specifically told him, hey, you could get way more than that for this, but he wanted to sell it to me. So, thanks for that, anonymous guy. I assume you want to stay anonymous. Though unfortunately, there was one minor problem with this, but I was told about it beforehand. The lighter part of the flamethrower had broken and was glued back on. The previous owner did unfortunately glue it back in the wrong orientation. It was originally glued back at a much higher angle than it should have been, and I thought it was fine. I didn't really have any intention of fixing it. But then while recording this video, it snapped off again, so I guess I had to fix it. And now it's more or less in the right spot. And the flamethrower as a whole looks really cool, but I think they went way overboard with making it look worn down. Look at all that wear and paint chippage. This thing's seen some battles. I do think the amount of wear on the actual Pyro and Heavy figures is appropriate though. The paint job on these looks really good. And the robot Pyro figure has the same basic points of articulation, but it isn't as hindered by having to hold up a heavy upper body, so the torso is more adjustable. You could bend it at the midsection here, and the chest. I'm not really sure why you would ever bend it at the chest, but you can. Even this little backpack thing has some movement to it. The Pyro's legs are more flexible than the Heavy's, but they are still limited by the pistons in the thighs and the back of the legs. And despite both these figures having very small feet, they're actually both very stable. I've never had either of them fall over, even when they're holding their weapons. And yeah, unfortunately, it's not easy to get the Pyro to hold the flamethrower either. You basically just kind of have to put the arms out and lay it on top. It looks fine when you do, it's just kind of awkward to get it that way. The other accessory the Pyro comes with is the batteries on its chest. For some reason, they're a separate magnetic piece that you just kind of plop on there. They do stay pretty well, but it's not the best connection. And for some reason, the Pyro comes with 2 extra batteries. They're also magnetic, but they don't go anywhere on the figure. This one has some blood on it. They really don't serve any kind of purpose. I guess you could shove them in Heavy's head because Amazon won't deliver your stupid AG1 battery, or you can make Pyro hold it. Now just look at these 2 figures side by side. Look how cool they are. Obviously, these are the only 2 they made, and I highly doubt they're gonna make any more. I do wish they made the whole team, but I guess it's good for my wallet that they only made 2. And these are definitely up there with the gaming head statues for being the best TF2 merchandise. And for the price they are, I would hope so. If you do end up finding these for a reasonable price, I would very highly recommend them, though I probably wouldn't pay any more than $400. I mean, even for the Pyro, that's pretty excessive. Really, the only major issue I have with these is that the joints can be pretty stiff, and posing them with their weapons can be kind of difficult. Wait, pause! It's me from the future! I do have one more issue with these. Well, with the Pyro at least. After everything in this video was recorded, I decided to swap out the batteries in the Pyro with some fresh batteries, and I didn't expect that to be actual torture. It took me over an hour to get 3 batteries inside the head because everything is just so small and they keep popping out and that spring is too big and you just have to just jam everything in there. It sucks. If they die again, I'm leaving them in. Okay, back to whatever else I was saying. But the more I move them around, even just for this video, the smoother the joints get. And realistically, these are just going to be for display. You're going to get them in like one pose and they're going to be on your shelf like that for a long time. And as a display piece, these things are awesome. They're so cool. Have I mentioned how cool these things are? Because they're really cool. But while I have you here as my hostages, don't click that X. I just want to show off a few more things I got recently, cause come on, how often do I have this opportunity? I recently got this Archimedes plush, brand new. This #1 sniper mug, still in box. Yeah, I'm kind of the #1 sniper. This little talking dispenser plush, he's got a few phrases. And one of my favorites, the Buff Banner satchel thing. It's not a backpack like it is in game, it's kind of more of a satchel. But it is still pretty rad. When you open it up, the zipper has a little bugle on it. That's a nice touch. And look, inside it even comes with a Buff Banner flag. How cool is that? It just makes you really wish that Valve had any kind of consistent standards for how they made and distributed merchandise. But they don't. It is what it is, I guess. Yeah, that was fun. Those robot figures were the last big TF2 purchase I had planned, aside from maybe the statues, and I got super lucky with the guy selling me the Pyro one. There's always more merchandise to talk about, but that might be it for the time being. I always say that, but I think that's it for now. But now, if you excuse me, I'm gonna go play some Man vs. Machine. Boy, this is so much fun! I sure do love killing robots! It's a good thing none are watching me. Thanks for watching, and a special thanks to my patrons like Varric, Captain Forex, Egox, Dex, Probably Vinegar, Copernicus, Kelso the Pirate, Pilsman's Fox, Kyber96, Scout with a Name, Glump, Salt God, Lavi, Taupe, Time Consuming, Steel Frog, Nolan46, and Slemmy. Okay, peace out, dogs.